Afternoon, everybody. It's been a little while since I've gotten on the camera and talked to all my YouTube peeps. Been traveling a little bit. Been out to Tampa, Florida, then out to Omaha, Nebraska, and then to the corn country of Harlan, Iowa. Beautiful little town with seas and seas of cornfield and soybeans. So that's what I've been doing with my time, traveling a little bit for business. But back here in South Carolina, and you can probably tell I'm wearing some of my Clemson gear. And I've got a friend that I actually do some work with, and he's always talking about how college football, that's not a game. And he's a fellow YouTuber, and he puts out there that, football's not a game, and he'll go through every week and talk about how this isn't a game and that's not a game and those kind of things. So, I just decided to put together a little video to talk about the importance of college football. Now, for those of you around the country that don't live in the deep South, this may be lost on you, because in some parts of the country, when college football teams play, it's like watching two mules fight over a turnip. It's like, who cares? But in the South, college football is right next to religion, which is sad to say at times, but it's really, really up there on the totem pole. And mainly because in a lot of towns, like the town I grew up in, for high school football on Friday nights, that's all there was to do. So you had a town of 3,000 people I grew up in, and 2,000 of them on Friday night were there watching high school football. And then Saturday morning came, and 20 miles away was Clemson University, and so about 100,000 people piled into the little town of Clemson to go see football. But why is it that football is important in our society? And I know there's been some negative stories about coaches and doing some bad things, and we'll take all that out of play right now. But college football in this time of the year, and by the way, there's always that distinctive smell in the air when it's college football time. We're 2 days away from the big Saturday Labor Day kickoff. I know there's some games this week, but they're kind of the opening act, so to speak, for a big band. All the big games start this weekend. So why is it important? Why is it important this time of year for football fans? Well, first of all, every team is optimistic. Everyone has 0 losses and 0 wins and 0 ties, and everyone thinks their team's going to have a great year. Well, as we know, everybody's team is not going to have a great year. But there's optimism in the air. There's a sense of renewal of, hey, my team is going to do it this year, and I am going to be excited for that. And in some ways it translates onto the person, makes them feel better about themselves, and that's not a bad thing, because people need to feel good about themselves. But what else is important about it? Well, it relieves stress. Well, no, let's scratch that. For some people, it relieves stress because they can let out their emotions and passions during football games. But for other people, like me sometimes, it creates stress because I just can't control what's going on during the game. But for some people, it's a stress relief. And the other thing is, it puts work into perspective. We work Monday through Friday, and during college football season, you can take a break around the water cooler or having a cold beer with your friends and say, let's talk some football. And I tell you, that just puts work into perspective, because work's not near as important as college football. I mean, college football is up there. And so Friday about lunchtime in the South, you can forget about any productivity Friday afternoon, because most people are looking to go to their local high school football game Friday night and go tailgate somewhere and drink beer and eat good food and barbecue all day Saturday to watch a college football game. The other thing, there's a huge economic impact on local communities, because when 100,000, 120,000 people pile into little Clemson, South Carolina, people spend money, and they spend a lot of money because people are crazy about their college football teams. Down in South Carolina, Columbia, they got these things called the cabooses, where they tailgate, and people own these things. They own them year-round, but only to be used 5 or 6 times a year during football season. Well, and one big reason, especially right now in our country, for a little bit of time every fall, we can just forget about the craziness of politics. Because you know what? It's all about football rivalries, not about political rivalries. So, you get Democrats and Republicans and Libertarians and Green Party and Tea Party and everybody's party, and you get them all on a football stand, and they don't talk politics. They're either all pulling for one team or all pulling for the other team. They don't care anything about this or that or politics or Trump or Hillary or anybody else. So college football brings the nation together, not divides it like politics does. So football rivalries in, politics out. I think that's a good thing. Now, it also creates a little craziness in people, and I got to tell you about a good University of South Carolina Gamecock. Well, a couple of friends of mine. We went out with couples here not too long ago, good friends, and we were sitting around, maybe had a drink or two, but not really influenced by that. We're talking about, hey, let's pick the college football season. So I went through and I picked Clemson's schedule, and won't reveal that yet. That might be for a later video. But this gentleman, who is a well-known Greenville, South Carolina attorney, his friend had a very realistic pick for the University of South Carolina, who's also a well-respected executive businessman in the upstate of South Carolina. He said University of South Carolina is going to go 9-4, have a good 9-3, go to a good bowl game, maybe win that. He wasn't really sure. He's very optimistic yet realistic. Now his friend, this fine attorney, a friend of his, we went through the schedule and he kept saying win. And we got down to the last game. They're playing Clemson at Clemson, and hey, we're going to win that game. Now all of a sudden South Carolina's 12-0. They're going to the SEC championship, probably playing Alabama. Win, he says. Win, we're beating Alabama. Going to I think the Orange Bowl is where they might play. And so he says, win, we're going to the national championship. Going to the national championship. He says, win, we're winning it all this year. This is a University of South Carolina football fan. Craziness has broken out. Optimistic craziness. And what are you going to do about it? You can't encourage them. You can't tell them they're crazy because it's football season. Everyone has the opportunity to be optimistic, and I applaud him for his optimism. But what I said was, okay, you beat us at Clemson, but Clemson's still going to win the ACC. We're going to win the ACC championship. We're going to get into the college football playoffs, and we'll meet you in the national championship. So for me, my optimism is going back to the national championship and doing nothing but kicking them Gamecocks' butt for the national championship. So that's my prediction. His prediction is South Carolina goes to the championship. My prediction is Clemson goes to the championship, and we meet. And finally, the bragging rights for South Carolina are settled once and for all. Now, for all my friends out there, you know that this is a little bit longer YouTube video than I would normally do. This is important because we're talking college football. So, all you fans out there, be optimistic, pull for your team, cheer for your team this Saturday, because half of you will be optimistic going into week number 2, and half of you will be pessimistic because you had your first loss. But enjoy these days right before Saturday. Enjoy the optimism. And the word of the day, optimism. Be optimistic about college football. Be optimistic about life. God bless y'all. By the way, BYOG, bring your own guts. Let's go Tigers. Gaillard out.